Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode. Hope January's been going fantastic. Stay tuned for the first review of 2018. So guys, I am so excited to share this review with you for various reasons, and the first reason is this is the first time that I've ever gone to a gig of an artist that I've never heard of prior to going to the gig. And I say that I literally went on Bands in Town and I chose a gig that I wanted to go to that looked cool and went. So literally I had no idea who the artist was beforehand, which is why this review feels really exciting for me. So went down to the Lexington, which is like in between Angel and King's Cross. I've been to the venue before to see a couple of other people play. When you go into the venue, it looks quite unsuspected because on the ground level it's a pub, so it just looks like a regular everyday pub. And then when you go upstairs, they've got this proper music venue with lights and a nice bar and everything. So it's pretty cool. The sound in there is incredible. I don't know if it's the equipment or the engineer, but whoever it is or whatever it is sounds fantastic in there. It is quite dark, and when it gets full, it is like literally you're standing in a can of sardines with other people basically. It is really tight, but it's a nice room. So went to see Liv Dawson. She did a headline show down at the Lexington. She had two support acts. One was called Girlhood and the other was called Grace Carter. So let me talk about Liv and then I'll mention Girlhood and Grace Carter afterwards. So when I first heard her first track, I was like, firstly, this girl can actually sing. Like, she's incredible. Vocals were really lovely, smooth and soulful, and like she's got a really beautiful voice. I really love her voice. And obviously as a singer, that's the first thing you listen to. So obviously the venue's quite small, and I'm imagining that having a big band is going to be quite costly. So she had playback, and she also had a keyboard player with her and a drummer, which I might add, her kick drum was actually amazing. It was see-through and it had lights around the rims of the kick drum, which I thought was absolutely cool. So cool. And obviously had her name in the middle of it. So if you're going to promote yourself, that's an extra special way to put your name out there. And so she had this obviously playback, drummer and keyboardist. And I thought that's a good way to get the people going. It's quite up-tempo music. It's kind of dancey but meets soulful. Disclosure-esque. What I thought when I first heard the track was like, this feels like a Disclosure vibe. And later on in her set, she said that Disclosure had produced a couple of the tracks, which made perfect sense to me because I was kind of getting that feel when I first heard her. So the music was very, as I said, Disclosure-esque. Very well-written lyrics. She sang the lyrics really well. I believed her. She was very aware of her space, and the audience were super listening. They were listening with a keen ear, and I respected all the people in the venue actually, because people were really paying attention. There wasn't much talking going on, and everyone seemed to kind of have already an understanding of who she was and her material. She seemed like she was enjoying it. There were moments that I kind of felt like she could have interacted a little bit more. She could have talked to the crowd a bit more. She did introduce all of her songs, and I think in terms of the way that she delivered the songs, they were believable, and I loved it. My particular favourite was the track called Tapestry. It was beautifully written, loved her vocal on it, loved the production, and at one point during the song, for me, I'm very expressive, so if I like something, I'm going to tell you or say that I like it. So at one point I was like, sing girl, and then everyone turned around and looked at me, and I felt very embarrassed. But I'm the kind of person, if I'm like seeing that you're doing amazing things, I want to let you know somehow. But it's not the British way, I don't think. It's a very American thing to do. But I was like, you know what, I'm really enjoying the music, and I'm just going to say, sing girl. That's what I'm going to do. So yeah, I think for me, I love the music, I loved her vocal, I loved the production. I think she was just a little bit quiet on stage for me. I didn't really get to feel her and her personality. The show itself was quite good in terms of like everything, the way that it was laid out together. So all the acts that performed on the night made logical sense. They weren't the same, but it was kind of that genre of music, electronic, kind of soulful, poppy. I'm not really describing it very well, but that kind of Disclosure-esque, but more vocal, as in singers who write really well thought out lyrics and stuff like that. So I enjoyed that. I think for me, as being an older performer now, and having gone through the phases of kind of not knowing what to do on stage and kind of feeling like you're exposed. It isn't a very exposing experience being on stage, and sometimes you can kind of get in your own head, and it can be quite difficult to know how much you should express yourself or how much you should just get on with the music. I think for me now, I know that being your authentic self is what people buy into. So I think for me, I would have liked to have seen her express herself a little bit more. But for me, also, it is also about the songs. The songs were strong, and for me, I like that. But yeah, I enjoyed the gig, and I enjoyed the two previous acts. So Girlhood, the supporting act, they were on first, and they're kind of like a quirky duo. There was 3 of them on the night, but they were a quirky duo singing kind of like electronic. I don't want to do their music injustice. Electronic pop with a funky twist. Bam! Take that. Girlhood, you were great. And then Grace Carter, she was kind of like, because it was a solo voice, she was more of a, I want to say, modern day Sade. I think that's how I would describe her. The music was really kind of electronic, but really soulful as well. Good pop tunes. Like, I like good pop tunes, and definitely she had a few in her set. So I'm like, I can get down with that. And then obviously Liv was the headliner, and Liv did a great job as well. And I think for me, I'm really happy that I went to see it, because my kind of dream for 2018 is to go and watch loads of acts and artists perform stuff, people that I've never seen before, people that I've never heard before, and just get a feel for what's out there. And actually, I prefer to see music live before I hear it on a record. So like, if I've never heard of an act and I see them live first, that's the best thing for me, because I can really see how their music comes to life, so that I can appreciate the record differently. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed Liv. And if you're watching, Liv, I hope you're watching. You did an amazing job, and I'll definitely be following you. Guys, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our videos. We post every single week. We're also on social media, Snapchat, Google+, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on all social media platforms. So let us know what gigs you've seen, where you've been so far, if you've been out, and what kind of music you're listening to at the moment. Make sure you use the hashtag TheInThing to let us know, and so we can see it and maybe mention it next week. So until next week, guys, see ya!